Welcome to my nightmare.
What's up, boys and ghouls? Welcome back to Exploring the Shadows, where every month we dig into a different horror subgenre, dissect what makes it iconic, chilling, and unforgettable. This month we're stepping into the house of worship, but don't expect salvation. We're diving into religious horror, where faith is tested, divinity becomes danger, and the line between miracle and madness gets crossed. Whether it's demons posing as angels or rituals gone horribly wrong, these stories remind us that the scariest thing isn't always the devil. It's also blind belief. So, say a prayer and hope something good hears you, because we're stepping into the world of religious horror. Let's get into it.
That the power of Christ compels you.
So, what is religious horror? Religious horror explores the intersection of faith, guilt, power, and the supernatural. It's not always about organized religion itself. Sometimes it's about belief as a force and how dangerous that force becomes when it's manipulated, corrupted, or pushed to the edge. These films tackle themes like possession, divine punishment, cults, and prophecies. You'll find angels as terrifying as demons, churches that harbor darkness, and characters wrestling with the terrifying possibility that God might not be listening.
Powers against the rules of darkness of this world, against the spirits.
Words!
Let's start where it all began, the classics. These are the movies that set the tone for what religious horror could be: unsettling, spiritual, and sometimes downright blasphemous. First up, The Exorcist, still one of the most terrifying films of all time. A young girl named Regan starts acting strange, and what starts as a possible medical issue quickly turns into a full-on battle between good and evil. We're talking vomit, spinning heads, speaking in tongues. It's not just shock value. It's the fear of losing control, the fear of the devil literally living in your house. This movie didn't just scare audiences, it made people question what they believed. And then there's The Omen, where a little boy named Damien might actually be the Antichrist. It's one of those films that makes you look twice at a kid in church. We're talking creepy nannies, fallen priests, and prophecies. Check, check, and triple check. And while Carrie might not seem like religious horror at first glance, there's Margaret White. Her warped version of faith becomes the real monster in Carrie's life, and it sets off one of the most iconic endings in horror history. And rounding it out is Frailty, an underrated gem where a father claims God told him to kill demons walking around in human form. Is he divinely chosen or dangerously unhinged? That tension makes it unforgettable. Fast forward to today, and religious horror is thriving. It's darker, messier, and more layered than ever. The Witch took us back to 1600 New England, where religious fear and repression stifled an entire family. The fear of sin, temptation, and the unknown drives them apart until someone finally whispers,
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Saint Maud shows how faith can warp into fanaticism, especially when paired with isolation and trauma. Maud isn't battling demons, she's battling herself, and what she thinks is salvation might just be self-destruction. The Wailing blends Korean folklore with Christian themes to tell a story that's just as confusing as it is terrifying. Exorcism and spiritual warfare collide, and you're never quite sure who's telling the truth until it's too late. And we definitely can't forget Midnight Mass. This show was a slow burn masterpiece. Vampirism meets religious ecstasy, and the result is terrifying and tragic. It asks what happens when miracles come with bloodlust, when servants justify sacrifice.
But we are God's servants, and His will must be served.
So why do we love religious horror? Religious horror hits different because it feels personal, even if you don't consider yourself religious. These stories dig into fear of the unknown, the pressure to be good, the weight of guilt, and the terrifying idea that some things are bigger than us, and we have no say in how they end. It also messes with your trust. You trust your family, your church, your leaders, yourself, but what if you're wrong? What if the thing you're devoted your life to isn't holy, but monstrous? Whether you believe in heaven, hell, or something in between, or none of it at all, religious horror forces you to look at that belief and ask, what if it's all true? And what if that truth is terrifying. Religious horror doesn't just haunt the screen, it haunts the soul. These stories mess with our heads because they're rooted in belief, doubt, and fear of the unknown. Now it's your turn. What's the one religious horror film that stayed with you? The one that made you question everything you thought was sacred? Drop it in the comments below, say a prayer, and let's talk about it. Next month, we're stepping into surreal horror, where nothing is what it seems and reality melts away. And make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss another single nightmare. Until next time, bulls and ghouls, stay safe and watch the shadows, because they're always watching you.